And so we get around to Death Stranding 2 on the beach, or to use the more apt title, Death Stranding 2 on the skip cutscene button. Oh, don't give me that look, Hideo Kojima, you know I like you really, and think the video game industry is a more interesting place with you in it, in the way a summer vacation becomes a lot more interesting when a giant tuberculotic narwhal washes up on the beach wearing a t-shirt for a popular J-pop idol group. I don't want to go into spoilers too early, so let me hint at what to expect using the two truths and a lie technique. Two of the following appear in Death Stranding 2. A tightly choreographed close-quarters kung fu fight in a kitchen with a pizza chef, a gunfight in a car park against a schoolgirl wearing a giant anime character head, and a shirtless guitar duel that ends with one of the participants being eaten by a giant slimy baby. But as always, the really fun part of Hideo Kojima games is not that they're complete fucking nonsense, it's the knowledge that they make perfect sense to Hideo Kojima. And he's really fucking happy to explain how. One day I just want to sit in on one of his pitch meetings. I imagine there's a lot of nodding and smiling, and urgent glances to the cabinet with a tranquilizer gun. Anyway, here's the plot. Norman Reedus and his magic fetus have gone into hiding after the events of the first game and are living his best grumpy single dad life with the now slightly larger magic fetus, until that moony tart with the weird umbrella shows up again and says, hey, great job connecting up all of America and all that, but we've just realised, in the grand tradition of being Americans, we forgot that other countries exist. I assume I'm American anyway, my accent's all over the fucking place. So after making some inroads to Mexico, we decide the logical next step is to connect up all of Australia, appropriately enough. You know, appropriate because of On the Beach. It's a reference to On the Beach, the 1957 Neville Shute novel about people in Australia dealing with a global apocalypse. No? Oh dear. It's okay, Mr. Kojima, sir. I understood your clever reference. Should I tell everyone else to report to detention? Luckily, a magic portal to Australia appears in Mexico, conjured from the mysterious fantasy realm where all the really contrived things live, and Norman Reedus can get to work delivering shit to good old down under. So there are two recurring issues with Kojima's writing, neither of which he's done much to fix. Firstly, really weird emotional tone. All the characters are to relatable human emotion what the main characters in the Dawn of the Dead remake were to that one gun shop owner dude stuck on the roof across the parking lot. There are moments in the plot early on that I found genuinely moving and affecting, especially as a father, and then one fucking cutscene later we're being introduced to Doll Man, the man who is a doll, to join our established friends Heart Man, the man with a weird heart, and Dead Man, the man who gets really poor radio reception. And Kojima's other main issue is dialogue. His characters don't talk with each other, they talk at each other. Very little verbal sparring, or back and forth, or chemistry, just mostly clunky exposition. Hey, I'm going to the shops, do you want anything? Yeah, could you get me a Twix? That's how normal people talk. Here's how that would go down in a Kojima game. Yahtzee, I've noticed you're running low on energy. Have you considered eating a Twix? It's a unique combination of chocolate, caramel and biscuit that provides all the necessary sugars and nutrients to temporarily boost your stamina. What's more, you can easily acquire one from many retail outlets. But first I must also explain to you the concept of Snickers. But again, we expect this from Hideo, and it's why we love him. The really disappointing thing about Death Stranding 2 is that it hasn't really evolved much since the first game. It's hitting a lot of the same beats. You're linking up Australia instead of America, you're best friends with a doll who is a man now, but not much has changed in the core gameplay. I'd say there's a bit more emphasis on combat this time, and instead of the odd boss battle in Dreamworld against Mads Mikkelsen, the campaign is broken up with the odd boss battle in Dreamworld against a bloke dressed like Solid Snake with a distractingly big nose. Besides that, the core mechanic is still the simple act of getting yourself to places when the terrain is uneven and you've got 9 toaster ovens strapped to your back. And in the moments when you are trudging across the scenery, it's still as weirdly compelling and contemplative as before, as you marvel at your smallness against the majesty of the wilderness and the strength of Norman Reedus' lower spine. It's just all the fiddling about in between that annoys me. The moment-to-moment interfacing has a serious efficiency problem. I don't like that I can't stealth kill dudes unless I go out of my way to equip my magic bit of string, which means sticking my hand in the radial menu that looks like a mechanical wasp's nest put together by Jigsaw, where with the slightest mispress I might accidentally drop my gun and equip Norman Reedus' ability to do wee-wees instead. I also shouldn't have to click through 5 information screens and skip 3 mini cutscenes just to complete a delivery mission. Practically the game's second core mechanic is skipping cutscenes. If I want Norman Reedus to have a shower, I have to skip the cutscene where he gets up, skip the cutscene where he turns the tap, skip the cutscene where he showers, and skip the cutscene of him sitting down again. Then I make him eat a bug and skip the cutscene for that, and then skip the cutscene of him having a lovely can of drink as well. Not Monster Energy drink this time, guess that contract didn't get renewed. Probably after the monster people found out that 90% of their product screen time was taking place after it had passed through Norman Reedus' kidneys. The other thing on the list of common Hideo Kojima game issues is that he always gives us way too much shit to achieve relatively simple tasks. Metal Gear Solid 4 didn't need 9 different kinds of porn mag to distract guards with, and one of the big finale quests in Death Stranding 2 is just to get from one end of the map to the other, saying, ooh, be prepared for anything, this will be your toughest challenge yet. But all I had to do was drive slowly around the coast, giving a wide berth to all the killer robots, and the only preparation needed in the end was to load up on fucking audiobooks. Still, they were jolly interesting audiobooks, and I appreciate Death Stranding 2 for giving me a chance to catch up on them. It's not a game I find unenjoyable, is the point, but at the same time, there's something about Death Stranding that's always given me the ick. Bug eating aside, part of it's that the characters all occupy a sort of personality uncanny valley that's heard of emotions but isn't sure it wants anything to do with them. But the big part of it is the weird fixation on Norman Reedus' bodily functions and perving on him in the shower. Just feels like if you swapped out Norman Reedus for, say, an anime schoolgirl, the game would be indistinguishable from one of those weird Japanese fetish games. Hey, no judgment. Some people are into watching girls go wee-wee in the shower and then strapping a 6-foot wardrobe to their backs.
This video is brought to you by Game Maker, and if you've ever wanted to get into game development, Game Maker does this really crazy thing where it's free. Just start making and only pay when you want to release your game to the world commercially.
It's fast, it's user-friendly, and there's easy-to-follow tutorials, plus a dedicated community to help answer even my questions. How make man jump? Game Maker is a 2D game engine that's helped bring some of yours and my favorite recent experiences to life, like UFO 50, Chicory, Anton Blast, and of course, Yahtzee's own Starstruck Vagabond.
Ooh, we talking about Game Maker? I love that program, it's so easy to use. As well as Starstruck Vagabond, I also used it to make all 12 projects in my 12 games in 12 months Dev Diary challenge. And I couldn't believe how much sex I got out of that. None. I got none at all. Which I couldn't believe.
So what are you waiting for? Head on over to the Game Maker link in the description and start cracking away today, because we want to play your game.
Yeah, looking through this list, I'm seeing one of you made Armpit Fart Tycoon, and I've got several questions for you.